right, what am I going to talk about? It's Friday. Today is Friday, March 19th, 2021. Is that right? Yes, March 19th, 2021. And here is the temperature in Crystal, Minnesota. Okay, so I was a little bit lost about what I was going to talk about today. To be honest, talking about post-production is more difficult than I expected. Post-production is one of those things that you just have to do. You just have to work it through and get it done, and everyone has their own processes. I could sit and tell you how I use Premiere or how I use different software, get into the minutia of my workflow, but all of our workflows and stuff are different. So I'm trying to think of a more broad topic of something that's actually kind of interesting to me. So I want to talk about nitpicking and pickups. These are two concepts in post-production that a lot of filmmakers seem to not quite be able to grasp. As filmmakers, a lot of the time, our project is something we're really passionate about when we start. And then the more we think about it, the less passionate we get. And even if it's not just our project, even if we're working with a bunch of different people on this project, as you work more and more, it becomes more difficult to care. And we end up doing two things. We either let it just go and we don't put our all into it, or we sit and nitpick it to the point where it's overdone. It's just diminishing returns. I have plenty of friends who have spent multiple years on their features and even their shorts, and they've just never put them out because they're nitpicking them. They're overthinking them. Especially with your low-budget movies, it's just something that needs to get out there, and you need to get past it. Nitpicking can both be a positive and a negative. I see it more often as a negative than a positive, thinking about it in the sense of, how can I improve this moment? Or what does this need to really get to the spot where I wanted it to be? And I think we need to be honest with ourselves as to where we want something to be, as opposed to thinking something that is flawed can be flawless. Embracing the flaws a little bit and knowing what you have and knowing what you're making, but we get in our heads and we start to overanalyze and overthink it. With The Good Exorcist, that's one of the worst parts is I know what the movie can be, and I know it can be better, and I know if I had more days, if I could do pickups, if I could do a massive ADR session, I could make a better movie. But does it lose its charm then if I put too much into it and overanalyze what it is? Part of its charm is that it's this $7,000 rough around the edges, made-for-TV movie, literally made-for-TV movie. And I have to embrace that about it and enjoy it for what it is. So I started thinking about, well, what can I do with this to make it even more feel like that concept? Which is why I'm putting out the VHS bootleg version that does have commercial breaks and feels like a made-for-TV movie even more, because it's something I didn't get when it aired originally. I want that. I want the commercials to be where I placed them in the movie cuts and how I thought about it for commercial breaks, specifically how they did commercial breaks in the 90s. That was a big part of how I made that movie, and I really want it to show, so I'm attempting to recreate that vibe and that feeling. But you need to think about what your movie is when you start to nitpick it. The other end of that coin is when people just go, this is what we got, this is what we have, and this is what we're going to deal with. Pickups and ADR sessions and using your post-production properly to make the movie better is so important. The rushing of a project can be death. When you see it in the theater at that film festival for the first time and you go, if I had spent 2 more weeks on this, I could have improved it. And here's the truth. If you're making a truly independent movie, you can. Use those film festivals as inspiration to how you can improve your movie. Use the screenings you have with your friends. Actually listen to what they're saying and realize where you can fix things, how you can hone the edit, and how you can improve your movie. Too often we get in our own heads going, no, this was the vision, this is how the movie is, and I don't have that. I don't have this shot that they want me to have. Or, yeah, the movie moved way too fast in this moment and way too slow in this moment. Well, how can you fix that? How can you actually slow down your edit? And maybe that's some B-roll. Maybe that's some beautiful landscape shots, a million different things. This is super cheesy, but your imagination can pull you as far as you want it to pull you. You can do whatever you want. I've had to learn that the hard way with having seen my movies after I filmed them and going, oh my god, I literally can't do pickups. I am not allowed to do pickups right now, and this sucks because I know how I can improve this scene, and I know what I missed. A lot of people overcomplicate pickups as well, thinking like, I have to get everyone back together, I have to get the whole crew together to make this work. You don't. You can pick up a camera, even borrow the camera that was used from the original shoot, or rent it for the weekend or something like that, and just go shoot pickups. Go shoot what you need. Now, granted, you may have some things you can't do. I know I'm not going to be able to convince Daniel to shave his head again for Greywood's plot. If I was like, I want this scene in Greywood's plot, we missed a moment, I don't think Daniel is going to go, you know what, that sounds great, I'm going to shave my head for a third time. It's not in the cards for that movie. And those are the things that you have to realize as you're doing it. Not everything is going to be in the cards, and not everything is going to be possible for you in those moments, but how can you work around it? Maybe there's a way to use footage you already have and do pickups with someone else, or use B-roll, or use something to elevate the movie. Find a way to use ADR in an interesting way that doesn't seem like it's just ADR'd for ADR's sake. I personally wish I had more time to do pickups for The Good Exorcist. I wish I had had 2 days with my friends to go out and just film stuff that we had missed, because I know I could have enhanced that movie just a little bit more. With Greywood's plot, we did. There are 2 scenes in that movie that are detrimental to the movie. The movie does not play the same if you cut those scenes. Those were pickup scenes after I watched it with my wife. So knowing that you have the ability to do that, you can. You're making your movie, and you should put your all into it, but you also shouldn't sit on it for forever. You should get it seen, and sometimes getting it seen means showing flawed versions and then improving it and seeing where improvements are needed. And you may see a scene that you think sucks, and you may think needs improvement, and then someone will say, that was my favorite scene of the movie, I loved it, don't change a thing, and suddenly it's like, well, I guess I'm not going to change that because it actually does work, and I didn't realize how well it worked until I saw it with an audience. I love talking about these sort of broad concepts in filmmaking because I think we get so sucked into the minutia of how do I edit better, how do I do visual effects, all of these things that there are YouTube tutorials for, but there is no YouTube tutorial to teach you how to do your pickups your way. You have to figure that out. Your workflow is your workflow. For me, I prefer to have pickups. I prefer not to be overthinking it on set and getting in my own head and too stressed and realizing that I'm never going to have another shoot day again. That's what I had on The Good Exorcist, and it's a miserable feeling for me personally. Maybe you work best under that pressure and you need 14 days, no more pickups, the movie is done, it's in the can, we're going to be editing, and we are never going back out again. That's fucking fantastic if you can pull that off. I love that. I can't do it, and I just have come to terms with it, and it's something that saying it out loud helps me realize it, and it helps me as I move into filming my movie to go, okay, as I'm editing, I know I can go pick up B-roll if I need to, and even in the writing process, knowing what would be the B-roll in this scene, what's the thing I can cut away to slow it down or speed it up or find a nice edit break, anything like that, transitioning from scene to scene. That in itself is a topic I'd like to talk about on Sunday when I go live. How do you think about transitions in the edit? How do you keep the movie flowing from note card to note card or scene to scene? So Sunday at 10 a.m. Central, I should be live on YouTube. So if you are free and you want to have a coffee with me, sit down and have a chat. I'll maybe be live earlier than that. This last weekend I went live at 10 a.m. because of daylight savings time. It threw me all off. But this weekend I'll probably be a little bit earlier, but we'll see. Regardless, I hope you found something informative in this video. I feel like there are still a lot of questions out there about post-production and a lot of statements about how you do your post-production, so leave them in the comments down below here. You can leave comments, and give me that thumb. Thumb me up or down, however you want to. And hopefully you all are going to kick ass today, get something done. It's Friday. Relax if you want to relax. You do you. Woo! I didn't take a sip of coffee like that whole time. So now it's cold. 10 minutes of 9 minutes of recording, and I have cold coffee. It's freezing in this basement. I don't know why I'm wearing a t-shirt. Stupid. Bye.